Nation of Fit and Tan, welcome to day 31, and reminder to you that some is always better than none. If you are struggling with any component of this challenge, again, reminder, try to set yourself up with some mini benchmarks, some ways of trying to improve, little steady improvements. Try to match on those improvements for a week or two and then bump them up more. Okay, we've got to give ourselves something. We've got to apply some pressure. We've got to apply some level of improvement, some benchmark that we can try to work towards. And this will allow us to, move forward. This will allow us to improve. We have to set a standard. Standards have to be there. So make sure, you do this, right? If you're not getting 100% there, set yourself up, and I'm more than happy to help you with this. Set yourself up with some mini benchmarks, some very small adjustments, perhaps week to week, that will help you to move ahead. Okay, I'm gonna get to more of your feedback because I'm well behind, so let's just get into it. I'll answer these as fast as I can. This person writes, this is under name something you can improve upon for the following week. LOL, brackets, nobody except for maybe you is perfect. I don't know if I'm perfect per se, but I'm more to say I'm consistent. Like if you look through my food journal, if you just look through it all, you'll see that it's not like, it's not like my macros are 100% on every single day, but what you will see over years is consistency. That's what you'll see. Consistency is more important. I will prolong my food so I don't have to play catch up. I will prolog my food. I'm sorry. I will prolog. Yes, you want to prolog your food. This is under the heading, is there anything you would like me to cover in this week's video series? Can you go over your prep, can you go over how you prep log your meals? Okay, so, I'm just gonna be honest with you. I don't do per se exactly what I tell you guys to do, but I can tell you, I know this might seem, well, I guess it's really not hard to believe because I've been doing this for so long. I can almost get my macros to a T without actually entering my food into my journal. Now, this being said, I already know how much of what's in what. So I know when I weigh stuff out, I'm like, okay, I know that's exactly this amount of carbs. And when you do this, or protein or whatever it is, so I weigh everything out and I do enter it into my log, but I don't log everything. I do replicate meals. I'm really big on replicating meals. Not necessarily that I eat the same diet every single day, but I eat the same types of foods. So usually what I end up doing is I make, and this is not what I suggested you do, but I'm just gonna tell you what I do because you asked, or you wanna know what I do. I usually will go through the day. It's always, I eat very, very basic. So it's always a basic starch or possibly a simple sugar if we're talking fruit, but basic, think of it more as a basic carbohydrate and basic protein every single meal. And I know how much is in what. Like I know that, for example, 2.5 ounces of oatmeal is gonna be around 50 grams of carbs. I know that, 6 ounces of jasmine rice is going to be around 40 grams of carbs. I know this. So, I know that 4 ounces of banana is going to be somewhere around 26, 27 grams of carbs. So I know what's happening as I'm going through my day and I'm weighing things out. And so by the time I get to the end of the day, it's really just another one of those basically regular meals. The point is that I am breaking it down. My macros for the day, I break them into individual meals. That's all I do. And it's always basic. So for example, morning, it's dry oatmeal with egg and egg whites. I mix that together, I cook it together. I put some fruit in there, 105 grams of berries, about 3 ounces of banana, and then I put 100 grams of yogurt on top after it's cooked. So I cook the egg and the oatmeal and I mash in the fruit and then I put the yogurt on top. Second meal of the day, this can vary on the type of meat I will use, but it will be a meat. So it will either be chicken breast or it will be eye round steak or it will be salmon, or sometimes it can be bison, ground bison. That's usually the 4 things I have. And so I'll typically have somewhere between, depending on the type of meat, anywhere from 6 to 8 ounces. And of course, like I mentioned, everything's weighed out, 6 to 8 ounces. And then I'll do, usually rice, but sometimes it's potato. The odd time I actually have oatmeal, like I'll make oatmeal cooked in water. And again, whether it's rice or potato, it's going to be somewhere in that 7 to 10 ounce range, depending on the day. And then usually my third meal is post training, and that's going to be a shake. And again, that's just yogurt, milk. I won't tell you the amounts, but yogurt, milk, protein powder, banana, and pineapple. And then fourth meal is typically my second meal, so meat and starch. Again, well, every meal's like that, but a meat, not every meal's a meat, but a protein. But again, this case, meat and some sort of starch, usually rice or potato. It's pretty basic. And then I have vegetables always made. So, and I admit that I don't have a huge amount of variety. I usually stick to the foods that I like. So fruits, typically apple, banana, berries, mixed berries. That's typically what I eat for fruit. When it comes to vegetables, yes, I realize I don't have a huge variety. Carrots, Brussels sprouts, and broccoli. Those are my go-tos. When it comes to starches, oatmeal, rice, potato. And it's usually rice. It's more often actually rice and oatmeal that I tend to have. And when it comes to fat, I have fish oil and I have whole eggs. And the rest of the fat comes from this. I have a little bit of mixed nut seed and butter. So that's basically it. And my meals don't really change. I mean, sometimes it's literally it'll be steak and oatmeal, or it'll be steak and rice, or it'll be chicken and oatmeal, or it'll be eggs and oatmeal, or eggs, whatever, rice. It's just, I'm just mixing and matching, and I know the amounts, so it's very, very easy. And I'm used to eating this way, and this is the way I feel the best. So I don't like going off course because I know the way that I feel, so I don't want to go off course. When you get, excuse me, I can't read today. She did not, this was not written, I'm just reading wrong. What do you do when you get bored of your food choices? I generally don't. Like, I love the foods that I eat. That's just the way it is. Sometimes I'll cook things different. Sometimes I cook steak in the oven. Recently I've been cooking it in a, pressure cooker. And the meat is totally different. So, but generally I just don't. Like my breakfast, I absolutely love every morning. And I'm usually when I eat, I'm hungry. So it's not like I'm full. I don't know how much help that's going to be to you because I have a system that works for me. So, okay, more questions here. This person writes, now keep in mind this was written I think in week 2 or 3. How soon might I see weight loss show as I gain muscle? Okay, as you gain muscle mass, let's be specific. Because as you go through training, how am I doing for time here? 8.5 minutes or 9 minutes almost. So your muscle mass will go up initially because there's going to be more fluid distribution towards the muscle. It may not be muscle tissue initially, at least that's what research tends to show, but we tend to see more muscle mass, yes. Here's the thing. If you're losing, a lot of you are losing 1 or 2 pounds of fat per week, some people 3 pounds of fat per week. And with fluid distribution, you typically don't see, you might see weight loss, but you don't always typically see it for a couple weeks. So, generally 3 weeks or so. But I do notice that people will say to me, I haven't lost any weight. They'll even come in for their scan, they'll say, I haven't lost any weight, but they get on there and when I look at their first scan to second scan, they're like, there's a 4 pound difference. Like they're down by 3 or 4 pounds or 5 pounds or whatever. Quite often people say they haven't lost any weight. We did have somebody in this challenge who didn't lose a pound and lost 10 pounds of fat. So that's kind of rare though. Usually we tend to see weight loss. Although I will tell you that is a really good sign. I realize for a lot of you, you'd be like, oh, you'd probably be feeling discouraged when you see that. But actually, in reality, fluid retention, generally speaking, especially fluid retention of the muscle, this is really good for weight loss. This is really good in terms of the total process for fat loss. This is a really, really good thing. Hydrated muscles are a really, really good thing. Holding a little bit of water outside the muscle too is a really, really good thing. Okay, message of the day. 10.5 minutes, wow. Okay. So on this week 5 that you are not going to quit, no matter how you feel, and this is really important, no matter how you feel, okay, I'm not saying to ignore the way that you feel. It's good to be in touch and know the way that you feel. But no matter how you feel, still, I want you to get up, I want you to dress up, and I want you to, most importantly, let's just reread this. No matter how you feel, get up, dress up, show up, and most importantly, never give up. Never give up, all right? Sometimes you may have to back off a bit. Sometimes you may not be perfect. But the point is to keep going. The key is to keep going. All right, like tonight, I stopped doing some stretching. I try to stretch every night or every day, and I still haven't done it. I might just cut it back slightly tonight, which means rather than me doing 40 minutes of stretching, I might just do 20, because some is better than none. And I know that will serve me well still regardless, okay? But that's just a small example right off the top of my head. All right, most important word here is feel. Do not let be in touch with your feelings, of course. Listen, I'm not a psychiatrist or psychologist or a counselor or whatever, but the point is don't let your feelings dictate your decisions. Really do not do that, okay? I think that's wise advice. I really, really do. All right? Think about, and I really believe in, to a certain extent, a level of stoicism, and really trying to identify what's holding you back, and really trying to identify what is going to help you, truly what's going to help you. What's going to help you in the long run, what's going to help you to feel better, not just on the surface, but deep down, right? With good decisions that you make. No matter how you feel, get up, dress up, show up, and most importantly, never, ever give up. Keep going to whatever degree you can, okay? Positive energy, positive vibes, believe in yourself, and for the love of God, give some gratitude. And this is the longest video I've ever shot, this challenge. See you guys.